Imagine being given the chance to travel to another dimension, and coming back with powers you never asked for. At first, it sounds like the kind of scientific breakthrough that could change humanity forever. But what happens when the experiment works a little too well? In Fantastic Four, 4 young people are about to discover that crossing into another world is easy. Coming back from it is the dangerous part. The story begins with Reed Richards, a brilliant young inventor who has been obsessed with teleportation since he was a kid. While everyone else sees him as a strange genius, Reed sees something much bigger. He believes humans can travel to another dimension. His childhood friend Ben Grimm is one of the few people who has always supported him. Ben isn't a scientist like Reed, but he's loyal, practical, and willing to help with whatever crazy experiment Reed comes up with. Eventually, Reed's work attracts the attention of Franklin Storm, a scientist running a research program dedicated to developing interdimensional travel. Franklin introduces Reed to his adopted daughter Sue Storm, who is working on the technical side of the project. Reed also meets Johnny Storm, Sue's reckless and competitive brother, and Victor Von Doom, an extremely intelligent scientist who doesn't exactly enjoy being told what to do. Despite their very different personalities, the group manages to accomplish something that scientists have been trying to achieve for years. They build a machine capable of opening a doorway to another dimension. When the first test succeeds, the government becomes interested. But instead of letting the scientists continue experimenting on their own, officials decide they want a controlled mission. Reed, Johnny, Victor, Ben, and another scientist are selected to travel through the portal. The destination is a strange world unlike anything they've ever seen. The landscape looks almost alien. The ground is unstable, the atmosphere is dangerous, and enormous energy fields surround them. At first, the team is amazed. They've actually done it. They've reached another dimension. But their excitement quickly turns into panic. Something goes wrong. The portal begins destabilizing. The team realizes they have stayed too long. They rush back toward the machine, but Victor becomes separated from the others. Reed, Ben, and Johnny barely make it back. Sue is also caught in the accident while trying to help. Then the impossible happens. Their bodies begin changing. Reed's skin stretches like rubber. Ben's body transforms into something massive and rock-like. Johnny suddenly bursts into flames. Sue discovers that she can become invisible and manipulate powerful energy fields. They don't know why this is happening. They don't know whether the changes are permanent. And most importantly, they have no idea what happened to Victor. The government immediately takes control of the situation. The 4 survivors are isolated and studied. Instead of being treated like normal people, they become classified as scientific assets. Reed is terrified by what has happened to his body. He becomes obsessed with finding a way to reverse the transformation. He believes that if he can recreate the accident, he can undo it. But Reed isn't interested in becoming a superhero. He just wants his old life back. Ben, however, has a much harder problem. His transformation is permanent. His entire body has become covered in orange rock-like skin, making him almost unrecognizable. He can barely look at himself. The man who once joked with Reed now struggles to accept what he has become. Johnny has the opposite reaction. He initially sees his powers as something incredible. He can fly. He can surround his body with flames. He can move through the air faster than any normal human. But even Johnny eventually realizes that having power doesn't mean having control. Sue is still learning how her abilities work, and the government begins turning the 4 of them into a potential military weapon. Meanwhile, Reed disappears. He escapes from the facility because he refuses to let the government use his research. For months, he lives alone, trying to understand his condition and searching for a way to restore himself. But while Reed is hiding, the government continues investigating the other dimension. And eventually, they find Victor. What they discover is terrifying. Victor survived the accident, but he didn't come back the same person. His body has been badly transformed, and his mind has become increasingly unstable. He believes the people who left him behind betrayed him. He believes humanity is too weak to understand the power they have discovered. And now he has returned with abilities far beyond anything the others possess. Victor no longer wants to go home. He wants to reshape the world according to his own vision. When Reed finally learns that Victor is alive, he realizes something much worse than the accident has happened. The portal can be opened again. And Victor knows how to use it. The man Reed once considered a brilliant colleague has become something else entirely. And if Victor gets control of the technology, the entire planet could be in danger. For Reed, Ben, Sue, and Johnny, there is now only one choice. They have to stop the person who helped create their powers, before he uses those same powers to destroy everything around them. Victor's return changes everything. He is no longer the brilliant scientist Reed remembers. The experience in the other dimension has completely changed him, both physically and mentally. Victor believes the new world they discovered contains unlimited power. In his mind, humanity has been given a chance to evolve, and he intends to force that evolution whether people want it or not. Reed tries to reason with him. It doesn't work. Victor attacks. The battle quickly becomes impossible for ordinary soldiers to handle. Victor can manipulate energy and move through the environment in ways none of them can match. The four realize that their only advantage is working together. Johnny uses his fire abilities to attack from above. Sue creates invisible force fields and tries to contain Victor. Ben uses his enormous strength to protect the others. And Reed uses his intelligence to figure out how Victor's powers actually work. For the first time, they stop thinking of themselves as four people who were accidentally changed. They start acting like a team. But Victor has no intention of giving them time to prepare. He activates the interdimensional technology and creates a gateway to the strange planet they originally visited. The energy coming through the portal begins destabilizing the surrounding area. Buildings shake. Equipment explodes. The entire facility starts collapsing. Victor believes the other dimension can give him enough power to completely remake Earth. Reed realizes the opposite may happen. If the dimensional energy continues spreading, it could destroy both worlds. So the team follows Victor through the portal. They return to the strange planet where everything began. The place looks even more dangerous than before. Massive energy formations surround them, and the ground seems almost alive. Victor moves toward the center of the planet, drawing power from the environment. The others chase him, but this time, they aren't scientists trying to understand an experiment. They're fighting for their lives. Ben charges Victor first. The impact sends both of them crashing across the alien landscape. Johnny attacks from above, surrounding Victor with flames. Sue uses her force fields to protect Reed while he works out a way to shut down the portal. For a moment, it looks like they're actually gaining the upper hand. Then Victor unleashes a massive burst of energy. Everyone is thrown backward. Reed barely gets back on his feet. He realizes they can't defeat Victor by overpowering him. They have to work together. Reed creates an opening. Sue traps Victor inside a force field. Johnny hits him with a concentrated blast of fire. And Ben delivers the final physical attack. Victor falls. The portal begins collapsing. The four rush back toward the gateway before it closes completely. They make it through just in time. Behind them, the alien world disappears into darkness. The experiment that created their powers is over. But the four people who entered that portal no longer exist. They have become something completely different. Instead of hiding from what happened to them, they decide to use their abilities to protect people. Reed finally accepts that his transformation cannot simply be erased. Ben begins learning to live with the body he never wanted. Johnny embraces his ability to fly and control fire. And Sue realizes that her powers aren't something she needs to fear. They have become a team. A family of four people connected by the most dangerous scientific experiment they ever attempted. And although the world doesn't know what to call them yet, the name eventually becomes obvious. The Fantastic Four. By the time the team faces Victor for the last time, something has changed. Earlier, Reed was desperate to undo what happened to him. He wanted his normal life back. Ben was struggling with a body he couldn't recognize. Johnny was still trying to prove himself, and Sue was learning how to control powers she never asked for. Now, they finally understand something important. They can't go back to the way things were. The experiment changed them permanently. So instead of fighting their new identities, they decide to use what they've become. Victor, meanwhile, has gone completely in the opposite direction. He sees his transformation as proof that humanity is weak. He no longer wants to return to normal. He wants to use the power of the other dimension to create a world according to his own vision. That makes the final confrontation personal. Reed isn't just fighting Victor because he's dangerous. He's fighting the person who once shared the same dream. The battle eventually forces the four to work together. Reed uses his intelligence and flexibility to create opportunities. Sue controls the battlefield with her invisible force fields. Johnny attacks from the air, and Ben becomes the team's physical powerhouse. None of them could defeat Victor alone. Together, they finally have a chance. Victor is ultimately defeated, and the connection to the other dimension is shut down before the situation can become even more dangerous. But the victory doesn't magically fix everything. The scars remain. Ben is still trapped inside his rocky body. Reed's body is still completely different. Johnny still has to learn how to control his fire. Sue has to accept that her abilities are now part of who she is. And that's really where their story begins. They were not chosen heroes. They weren't trained superheroes. They were simply 4 people who took a scientific experiment too far and paid an enormous price for it. But instead of allowing that accident to destroy them, they decide to turn it into something meaningful. Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben finally become a team. The movie's ending is therefore less about becoming superheroes and more about accepting responsibility. They entered the experiment believing they were going to change science. Instead, science changed them. And now they have to decide what to do with the second chance they've been given. That's what makes the Fantastic Four different from ordinary superheroes. Their powers weren't a gift. They were an accident. Their friendship wasn't created by destiny. It was built through fear, mistakes, and survival. And although the movie ends with them only beginning their journey, the message is clear. Sometimes you don't get to choose what happens to you. But you can choose what you become afterward. The 4 people who entered that machine wanted to discover another world. What they discovered instead was themselves. And perhaps that's the most important part of their story. Reed started the journey believing that science could solve everything. If something went wrong, he thought there had to be a formula that could fix it. But by the end, he learns that some things can't simply be reversed. Ben has to accept that he may never look the way he once did. Johnny has to stop treating his abilities like a game. Sue has to find confidence in powers she initially struggled to understand. And Reed has to stop running away from the people who need him. For the first time, the 4 aren't being controlled by scientists or government officials. They're making their own choice. They choose to stay together. They choose to use their abilities for something bigger than themselves. And that decision gives the team its real identity. The Fantastic Four aren't heroes because they have extraordinary powers. They're heroes because, after everything that happened, they still choose to protect other people. The experiment may have started as a scientific breakthrough, but its consequences turned 4 ordinary people into something the world had never seen before. Their story ends with a new beginning. The portal is closed. Victor is gone. The immediate threat is over. But somewhere beyond their world, countless questions remain unanswered. What else exists in that other dimension? Could the portal ever be opened again? And what other dangers might be waiting on the other side? The 4 don't have those answers yet. For now, they have something more important. They have each other. And after everything they've survived, that's enough to begin again. They walk forward together, no longer trying to escape what happened to them. They finally understand that their greatest strength was never their powers. It was the fact that they refused to give up on one another. And that's where the story of the Fantastic Four truly begins.